this is a real brown mess. If we compare it to our wasters, it's about the right size, right kind of shape, but there's an enormous difference in weight. This thing is at least 5 kilos, if not more, I reckon like 6, and extremely tip heavy with this big steel barrel at the front. So you've really got to be very conservative about how you move it around and throw it around. It is much heavier than, for example, my actual oak quarterstaff. Okay, this weighs perhaps 2/3 to a half of what the brown best weighs. So this is a really heavy and unmanoeuvrable weapon. The other thing I just wanted to show you was taking this basic pattern, you can actually make something like this, which is much prettier. It's still only about half the weight of the real thing, but a damn impressive piece of kit that, and it's made exactly the same way as the basic bayonet trainers I showed you the other week. Oh yes!
South Australia I was born. In South Australia around Cape Horn. Go all the way you rolling king. All the way you'll hear me sing. 'Cause I woke up morning fire. Just there I met this Nazi blood. All the way you're rolling king. All the way you'll hear me sing. There's just one thing that's on my mind. That's leaving and sitting there behind. All the way you're rolling king. All the way you'll hear me sing. Let's fly. Last we walk around Cape Horn. Jack Bush and Gadget, nothing more. All the way you're rolling king. All the way you'll hear me sing. In South Australia I was born. In South Australia around Cape Horn. All the way you're rolling king. All the way you'll hear me sing. All the way you're rolling king. All the way you'll hear me sing about the South Australia.
I'm trying to walk back, this wasn't working. Yeah, it was a bit too far.
A quick review of the bayonet wasters we made, just to finish off with. First of all, the épée blades did take a battering. They got bent and twisted and buckled into all sorts of weird shapes. Obviously, bayonets are thrusting a lot harder than you do with a standard épée, plus of course half the blade is in the barrel, which probably doesn't help. So
I may have been wrong. There may indeed be a good reason to use something like a cut down rapier blade that's a little bit stiffer and stronger. Now maybe with higher quality stiffer epées this wouldn't be so much of a problem, but the whole point of using an epée was that it was cheap. If you're going to spend money, you might be better off spending it on a rapier. The other reason to consider using something like a rapier blade is that when the bayonets were parrying each other, particularly down here at the bayonet end, of course the parries would land on the epées and they would bend sideways in all sorts of ways. Now you will notice that the historical fencing muskets actually had their blades oriented sideways like this. Turns out there's a reason why they did that. It's precisely to deal with that problem of the bayonets bending. If you mount your bayonet vertically across the barrel like that, then you will still get the same problem when you get parried. If, however, you turn it in the barrel so that it is oriented horizontally, then the parries come down and they do not bend the bayonet, which is going to be a lot more realistic. So what I would say now is that if you can, and again, if you'll have to make dozens of these things through a whole class like I did, by all means go the cheap and easy route. If you want to make a good one for you that's going to last, I would say get yourself a rapier blade, cut it down until it fits in the barrel, and mount it horizontally on the firearm like that, so that you get something that's going to bend nice and safely, but is not going to bend in the parries when it's hit by other bayonets. The last thing to note is that we did bust one in half with a overzealous butt stroke, which of course is just like the real thing. You can't swing them around too much like a club or a quarterstaff without risking this sort of thing happening. So other than that, they performed really well and we were really happy with the way they went. Some minor modifications to the design, should you have the time and money, can make them better. But overall, they performed really well.